Hey VC, it's Mazzy here, and continuing with my 10 picks. I'm picking 10 comps that I just love. Not soundtracks, but compilations. And we're gonna start out Jamaica. To me, the greatest reggae comp ever made in the 70s. One of those records we play all the time in the record store. Several of the record stores I worked back in the 70s, and every time we played it, we sold it. Trojan records, you know? When you're a kid, you think of Trojans and something else, and then all of a sudden, reggae comes into your life. And from Bam Bam to Cherry O Baby, I mean, it's got Toots and the Maytals, Desmond Decker and the Aces, Hope Luton, The Chosen Few, Eric Donaldson, and with these great producers, the late Leslie Kong, Edward Bunny Lee, Tommy Cohen, Warren Lynn, Alvin Ragland, Lee Perry, Lee Scratch Perry. The greatest reggae comp ever, in my opinion. Obviously, soundtrack Art They Come, but that's in a different, that's different. And as we're getting into that, another record that we used to play in the store all the time, Stars of the Apollo Theater. This is put together by Columbia Records by John Hammond, and it's not a live set. It's a double album. Find this record. This is my 70s copy. And what it is basically just leftover songs that were that weren't available at the time.
As I live and breathe. Now,
put together in a package from Columbia side.
What you doing down here on Rampart Street?
Girl, Jackie, I'm going down here to try to hop in a Saturday night fish fry. Yeah. Have you ever been to New Orleans? Well, you'll understand what I mean. All through the week it's quiet as a mouse, but on Saturday night
it's got Bessie Smith.
You mean they're rocking?
I'm telling you,
Mamie Smith.
No kidding.
Claude Hopkins and his orchestra. Mills Brothers, Cab Calloway, Baron Lee, Jimmy Johnson, Earl Hines and his orchestra. I love Earl Hines. Ruby Smith, Ella Fitzgerald with Teddy Wilson.
What's that mission?
Oh, nothing. Just be an entertainer or a musician. Look at here. You got anything you got to do?
Count Basie, Billie Holiday.
Come on.
Sam Gallard.
Am I seeing double?
No, what's the matter? It's gonna
Big
be some
Maybell.
Nah, but I don't
Duke Ellington, more Duke Ellington, Sarah Vaughan, Screamin' Jay Hawkins.
I didn't even know he was here.
Basically songs that artists that played at the Apollo Theater up on 125th Street.
He's with someone, darling.
Great collection, great collection. If you want to get into, you know, period stuff from the 30s, 40s, 40s actually, this is a great comp.
Listen, here come the cops.
Well, you know where I'm going on the piano and hide?
It's too late, sister. I think we're all going for a ride.
Look here, Jackie, did you get any of that punch there, sir?
It really upset my nerves.
Yeah, but before the cops came, oh me, oh my, we was really tearing up that fish fry. We were rocking. Oh, we were moving.
You were rocking, we were rocking. I mean, talk about early rock and roll, right? R&B, rhythm and blues. That's where it all comes from. So you guys and gals need to check that out. But over the last couple years, my favorite comps, and this is 2 different records, but I'm counting it as one, from the label Analog Africa. African Scream Contest, Volumes 1 and Volume 2. Stuff from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Either collection's great. Really funky, really soulful. Mazzy recommends these two records. Tell you, African music, R&B, reggae, that's where it all comes from. A lot of it, you know. Another one here I'm going to play is a record again. I keep going. I learned a lot working in record stores in my 20s, and this was a comp we played. It was on ABC Records. I think it originally came out in the late 60s, early 70s. I got it as a cutout, but it's another one we used to play a lot. Like a Red Hot. And it's a comp collection of Duke records. Bobby Bland, Ernie Harris, Clarence Gatemouth Brown, Johnny Ace, The Casuals, Little Junior Parker, Big Mama Thornton. Tell me, darling, will you be mine? I know I love you, darling. I really love you too. I really love you so. Baby, let me hug you. I really love you, darling. I'll never, never, never let you go. I'll never let you go. Okay, the next couple I'm not going to play music from because I know I'll get shut down, but you all know Nuggets. Now, this is not the original. This was the second cover version. Different cover when it was reissued. This is from the 70s version, 76 Sire Records. But same music, same comp, Lenny Kaye. And this is what started it all in terms of the 65, 66 garage band music. Electric Prunes, Standell's Dirty Water, Lies, Knickerbockers, Vagrants, Respect, No Time Like the Right Time Blues Projects, Push and Do Hard the Seeds. I mean, all you folks here that really into the psych comp stuff, you know all these songs. And a lot of people were reintroduced to all those kind of semi one-hit wonders from this collection. Again, this is the second issue. Blues Magoos, The Leaves, Amboy Dukes, The Count 5 Psychotic Reaction, probably one of the songs that, you know, is a typical Nugget creation. But Lenny Kaye, who later journalist, later guitar player with the Patti Smith Band. You know, everyone should have Nuggets in their collection. If you're into CDs, the expanded Nugget box, and they kind of went on after that with, you know, LA Nuggets and San Francisco Nuggets, variations of these comps. But in a way, I think this is one that really started it, or at least that popularized it. And everyone had this record in the 70s. Another great, this is a UK import. It's the songs Lennon McCartney gave away, and I love this comp. What's great about this is, you probably know Lennon McCartney wrote a lot of songs in the 60s that the Beatles didn't perform. They gave them to other artists to perform them. Obviously, this starts out with a later song, excuse me, that John Lennon wrote for Ringo on his the Ringo album, I'm the Greatest. But aside from that, you got From a Window by Billy J. Kramer and the Dakotas, Nobody I Know, Peter and Gordon, Like Dreamers Do by the Applejacks, Love of the Love, Cilla Black. Woman, great song, Woman by Peter and Gordon. Tip of My Tongue, Tommy Quickly. I'm in Love, The Foremost. Hello Little Girl, The Foremost. That Means a Lot, PJ Proby. Cilla Black, It's For You. They wrote a lot of, especially McCartney, but Lennon McCartney, you know, had their name on everything. Wrote for Cilla Black a lot. Another one of the singers that Brian Epstein also managed. He actually managed a lot of these people, and he would funnel these songs from Lennon McCartney to other acts. And they'd have hit records with them. World Without Love, one of the biggest ones by Peter and Gordon. Bad to Me, another one, Billy J. Kramer and the Dakotas. I Don't Want to See You Again, Peter and Gordon. And it gets incestuous. Peter Gordon, you probably know that in the 60s, back in the highlight of Beatlemania, McCartney was dating Peter Asher's sister, Jane Asher. Also lived in that house, the family Asher house, for a while. Basically, they gave him a room upstairs in that. Peter Asher later became a great producer, signing James Taylor to Apple and then to Warner Brothers, and produced his first hits and produced a lot of Linda Ronstadt's, most of her hits as well. I'll Be On My Way, Billy J. Kramer. Anyway, great comp. Big Mama Thornton. Before Elvis. That's on this comp.
You can wag your tail, but I ain't gonna feed you no more. You told me you was hot, man, but I can see through that. Yes, you told me.
You kind of want to keep it going, don't you? But that's not what this is about. Okay, this is an import comp, again, from the 70s. UK United Artist, and I got it, being the Beatle freak I am. This is a comp, Mersey Beat 45s. A lot of songs from the Mersey Beat.
Mersey Beat.
Liverpool, a lot of bands you don't know. Farron Flamingos, the Mersey Beats, the Searchers, the Big Three, Sonny Webb and the Cascades, the Undertakers, King Size Taylor. You know, if you've read a lot of early Beatle biographies, you've heard of these bands. Has a replica of Mersey Beat, the big music paper of the Liverpool scene. So great, right? Anyway, it's a collection of a lot of singles. A lot of them, you know, never really made it over here, unless you're a freak like Mazzy here. A really great comp came out in the mid-80s. Is it mid-80s? 82. 84 maybe. And it was David Byrne's label, Luca Bop, Brazilian Classics 1. This record, I remember at the time, you go into any, you know, clothing store, cafe, and they'd be playing this record. I'm not going to play it right now, but it's a great comp of Brazilian pop classes. Jorge Ben, Gilberto G, Chico Buarque, Milton Nascimento. Yep. Anyway, great record. David Byrne, sort of executive producer. He basically pulled the records together and made it in the comp. So he's sort of the curator of this collection. But I think there's like 2 volumes or 3 volumes of this, and I have the others on CD. It's the only one I have on vinyl. But it's a great, great comp. You know, you get the idea. Beautiful label for Luca Bop. Anyway, love that one too. second to last is a box set. Electric Muse. This is the story of folk into rock. And this is basically an overview history of British and British Isles folk music, folk rock. It's a multi-record set. I think it's 3 records in a book or 4 records. 4 records in a book. And it's got artists like, those of you who listen to a lot of British folk, Davy Graham, Bert Jansch, John Renbourn, Ralph McTell, Roy Harper, you know Roy Harper, who sings on Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. By the way, which one's Pink, right? Pentangle, got Martin Carthy, Al Stewart, John and Beverly Martin, you know John Martin. He made records with his then wife before he went solo. Fairport Convention, Bert Jansch, Shirley Collins, and Davy Graham. So if you're into British folk, it's got Traffic, John Barleycorn, Steel Eye Span, Richard Thompson, on and on and on, Fairport Convention, the Dubliners, the Chieftains. Anyway, it goes on and on and on. Jack Elliott, doing Pretty Boy Floyd. Well, he's exactly not a British Leadbelly. So it has some other things mixed in, sort of precursors of the British folk scene too, some American folk music. But it's a kind of a really cool box set, and it's got a lovely book as well, history of these artists. So that's number 9. Now, number 10 is not one record, but it's a really special collection that I picked up. I picked up all, I don't know if all of them, but I picked up 13 volumes, again, when I worked in record stores. If you guys know about Charlie Records, it's an import label. Some people considered it a budget label, but it was really a nice archive record, one of the first out of the UK in the late 60s and probably early 70s. And they did a series of the best of Sun, rockabilly, and the roots of rock. And I got every single one. And these sound pretty damn good considering. I mean, it goes from Carl Perkins and Roy Orbison and Johnny Burgess, Sonny Burgess, Jack Earls, Carl Perkins, and then you get into, each one has a theme. This one has Son of the Roots of Rock, The Catalyst, and it has Howlin' Wolf, Slimpy John Estes, Junior Parker, Jerry Lee Lewis, Johnny Cash, Carl Perkins, Charlie Rich, Howlin' Wolf, and Little Milton. I'm counting this as one. It's not one record, but it's sort of one series. It's not a box, but just a great collection. I'm glad I picked these up at the time. Ike Turner, Johnny O'Neill, Charlie Feathers, Jerry Lee Lewis, Carl Perkins, this is back to the Mersey record. You know, all this stuff is just so soulful and so rootsy, and it's really great to have this stuff and learn about this. Again, groups like the Beatles made me go backwards. Rolling Stones made me go backwards. Got me into these early precursors for their music. You know, Jeff Beck and the Yardbirds, and I mean, you guys know it all. Anyway, that's 10 Mazzy picks of comps that I truly adore. And sometimes, you know, before we had mixtapes and before we had CD tapes and before we had playlists, digital playlists, you put on one of these and just rock out. Great party records. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and please get your third cousin and your mother's favorite sister and your really cute younger sister to subscribe. And Mazzy loves you. Thanks, VC. Thanks for watching.